We're going to switch gears now to funding for Israel. Still remains uncertain, believe it or not, on Capitol Hill. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin are trying to change that, testifying as to why that money is so important right now.
You know, their testimony was repeatedly interrupted by protesters, as you can see here, demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. They were escorted out by security. Our political correspondent and co-author of Politico's Playbook, Rachael Bade, has been following all of it up there on the Hill for us. Secretary Blinken, said it was necessary to pass funding for all because of national security. But Speaker Johnson still skeptical of the Ukraine funding. How is this playing out so far? What do you know?
Yeah, I mean, Kira, it's a big question mark about how this is all going to resolve. I mean, they are in conflicting stances right now, with the House saying they're not going to move funding for Ukraine and the Senate saying it's got to be part of whatever passes for Israel. I mean, I would say to an extent we expected this fight about Ukraine to come to a head now because, Republicans have increasingly changed their views on supporting Ukraine with new money. However, one thing we didn't expect is how partisan this sniping is becoming over Israel. I mean, funding for Israel has long been bipartisan here on Capitol Hill, but the new speaker, Mike Johnson, he wants to offset that money for Israel with cuts to Democratic priorities. He was on Fox News earlier today talking about this. Take a listen to what he said.
I understand their priority is to bulk up the IRS, but I think if you put this to the American people and they weigh the two needs, I think they're going to say standing with Israel and protecting the innocent over there is in our national interest and is a more immediate need than IRS agents.
Now, Johnson right there talking about using money from the Inflation Reduction Act. This was a Democratic bill that passed when Democrats controlled all of Washington. He wants to use money that was given to the IRS to increase tax enforcement, basically go after tax cheats, increase money for a digital filing center and program that would let Americans file their taxes for free without going to, a CPA or to TurboTax online. And what Johnson is trying to do here is he's trying to create a political scenario where Democrats, if they reject this, which a lot of them already are going to be, he says, sticking by the IRS, but not with Israel. Now, Chuck Schumer has been pushing back on this very hard in the Senate today. Chuck Schumer, Jewish Democrat himself, he says Republicans want to help wealthy tax cheats basically cheat on their taxes at the expense of supporting Israel. And one last thing I will note on this idea of using the IRS for a pay-for, it actually doesn't save money to go after this pot of money at the IRS. It actually adds to the deficit because when you put money in tax enforcement, that means people who owe Uncle Sam funds, they actually are forced to pony up, which actually saves money in the long term. So the sniping is really something to behold on such a bipartisan issue up here, Terry and Kira.
All right, that is unprecedented to kind of tie aid to Israel to this partisan dispute. It's fun times on Capitol Hill to cover. Rachael Bade, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.